Hi, what's up, guys? I've got another one of these videos here to show you off to you a couple of the things that Skeetersoft NPIII is capable of doing, and show you some stuff that you might not necessarily see everywhere else, especially if you're reading a blog. So we're not quite over to May 1st yet. It's going to take us a little while. As you can tell, the pace we've been going on is pretty slow. In fact, I will show you the reason why. So normally, I guess we can just use this view because we don't have to see the dice. Normally here, I would take the pace a little bit faster, and we'd skip a couple of games here and there. But the problem that we have is that when we look at the standings, as you can see in the American League, every team is within three games of first place, which tells me that I kind of want to cover everything that I can because there's going to be a lot of good games. National League is turning into a little bit more of a, sort of the haves and the have-nots. That's a little bit easier for us to figure out in terms of which games to video, which games not to. And of course, if I'm playing games off camera, I can go a little bit faster. The way that I do this is I kind of arrange things based upon what the video schedule is, and I try to get to the next point in the video process. As this moves along, it does mean that there'll be quite a few games to play, but I can play probably about twice as fast or so, depending on certain factors when I'm not on camera, because I'm not talking about anything and I just focus on the game and play it. What I really wanted to show you, though, is sort of what the stats look like. So when you click over here to the stats screen, this is what you get in NPIII. You get a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of different types of statistics. You can organize them by, there's all the counting statistics, batting average, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage for the individual teams. As far as pitching statistics are concerned, you can look at ERA, at WHIP, and also batted against average. Batted against average is important, of course, because that's how the grades are calculated, if you didn't know that. And then fielding, in terms of the team, you do have a number of statistics, including some that there's pass balls. PIDP, I'm not entirely certain what that one refers to, but anyway, so it is. We'll just take a quick look and see what we can figure out here. So we'll look at the batting leaders. It's interesting how this works. So to show your batting leaders, you have to click on Get Batting Leaders, and then it will do the calculation for you. This doesn't happen automatically. And so in the American League, Clark for the Cleveland Naps is hitting 500. You've got Gessler for the Red Sox, then Umlaub for the Red Sox afterwards, 436, then 378, and then Delahanty for the Senators at 372. And then it drops off pretty quickly afterwards until we start getting the guys who are hitting the 200s. Of course, as you'd imagine, there's not many home run leaders at all. Cobb, though, has a home run, which is interesting. Now, when we click on National League, it will have this calculated automatically for us. Tim Jordan has 2 home runs already for Brooklyn, which is a real rarity. Evers, of course, with the 381 batting average, is leading the league. And you can look over here, too, in terms of like additional batting leaders, like who has the highest OPS. This will calculate this for you. Who has the most stolen bases. Who has the most caught stealing. So Cobb has 6 stolen bases and 4 caught stealing. Interesting to know. Clark for the Naps has 4 stolen bases, but has been caught 6 times. It's a little bit too early for us to care about this that much, but you can sort of see what it looks like. And here we'll look real quick into just to see sort of what's on here. You can see the win leaders, strikeout leaders, leaders in innings, win leaders in WHIP. And here in the secondary pitching leaders, we can also see how many home runs were allowed, who has the most shutouts, who has the most blown saves, which we don't care about so much here. I don't use that many relief pitchers. BVGA, I'm not entirely certain I know what that stands for, so we can look that up maybe a little bit later on and figure that out. Leaders in complete games, you're going to see a lot of them as long as I'm playing. You can get the stats for every single player if you want to hear all the American League players. You can also do individuals by game, which is pretty interesting. And so you can choose an individual player. So if, for example, I want to look up and see how Ty Cobb is doing, I can get his game-by-game statistics, and this will tell me, yeah, he went 1 for 4, 1 for 4, 2 for 4, 0 for 4, and on and on and on. This is where his home run was if we really want to see it. It will not let me, though, click directly over to that game. I would have to go load the game if I wanted to see exactly what happened in it. But it's pretty interesting. Then you have the batting average that changes game by game. So he started at 250, went to 330, 250, and on, and up and down until he's got to 277. So pretty interesting stuff. We can get the team batting statistics as well, which does include things like grounded into double play. This is where we'll take a look and see what the batting average is, 236, which is just about right on for the AL. And in the National League, the team batting average is 229, probably a hair or two low. And you can see as well for pitching, I don't know all this stuff off the top of my head. 256 is the ERA in the National League. in the American League 220. I think the 220 is a little bit closer to where it actually is in real life. I might be wrong. You can correct me. This will also keep track of like team double plays, which is good, and that's what we want to see. This is a little bit easier to come across than in some other games or on some other websites that track stats. So pretty cool stuff. It will also keep track of like pinch hitting or hitting streaks and stuff like that. Keep track of stuff by at bat if you want to see how a player did against a certain hitter and stuff like that. Keep track of most hits in a game. You've got 5 hits in a game by Tinker and Lumley. It'll keep track of some of the statistics for teams in one-run games or in extra inning games, right? So Brooklyn has done very well in one-run games. We've seen this in their games against the Giants. Extra inning games, it's interesting. It will just, it does it according to a percentage. So it is. You can look up the batting average with runners in scoring position, and you can also look at the average against for pitching. You can look at team versus team records as well. There's a lot of really cool stuff that you can look at here, and stuff that it's been a little while since I've really played around with. But it's really interesting. It's interesting to go through this and to sort of see what the stats look like, and then do maybe a couple things offline to sort of compare that and take a look and see where you're at. NB3 is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool game. It's, I think, more advanced than most people give it credit for, because you take a look at it and you think, oh, this can't be much. This looks like it's doesn't have that sort of like real fancy feel to it. This doesn't feel like this is a real advanced baseball game. But the truth is that the engine behind it is quite advanced, and also the way that the interface is created can do quite a few things that not necessarily every game can do. And it's handy for those of us who want to do sort of a basic replay and be able to report on it, because everything comes up in a way that's easy to view, easy to understand, and it's really, really simple to generate those statistics. So there you go. If you haven't seen it before, now you see it, and now you know how it works. Talk to you later. Bye.